Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Nolan Fast, and this is Grow with Farmers Cooperative. Today, we're here with Brooke Engleman. Brooke, why don't you tell us about your farm? Where is it? What do you do?
Okay, yep, my name is Brooke Engleman, and we have a dairy farm, and we are 6 miles north of Diller, Nebraska.
Classic Dairy, right?
Classic Dairy Inc., yes, is actually the farm name. The dairy is owned by my father and mother-in-law, Dean and Ann Engleman, and also by my husband, Adam, and I, and his brother and sister also own a portion as well.
So it's a big family farm.
It is a family farm, definitely. My husband is a fourth-generation dairy farmer, so it's pretty cool.
That seems to be like par for the course. Like, everybody we talk to, it's 2, 3, 4 generation.
It is. It's hard to get into farming if you don't have a family farm established. So
to get you started.
Yeah, exactly.
So what got you into farming? Was it just something when you were a little kid, you saw a cow and you were like, yes, that's it. What?
Kind of. I grew up on a small farm by Diller. We had a few beef cows and I had horses, so I've always liked animals from a young age. Funny story, when I was in high school, I was actually my mother-in-law's, who had no idea at the time that she was going to be my mother-in-law, but I was the part-time chore girl on the weekends. So I used to come out on weekends and feed baby calves at the dairy, and had no idea at that point that, that'd be my future, So
how did you started out that, tell me, from you started working on it and now you're part owner. How did we make that jump?
Yep. Okay. So my husband has worked full time at the dairy pretty much right out of high school. And that's really all he's done. I went to SCC Beatrice, and I spent about 8.5 years at Farmers Co-op.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I should have done some more research.
That's okay. Nope. Most of that time I was at the Plymouth Tire store, so shout out to those guys. But so then about the time my third child was born, I decided I was gonna, stay home more, and I started doing the books for the dairy. And right at 2 years ago, my husband's uncle, who was at that time a half owner of the dairy, decided he wanted out. And he asked if we were interested in buying him out. And so after a few discussions, we decided, yep, that was what we wanted to do. So then when he kind of quit, then I stepped in, and now I'm like the assistant herdsman, and I spend a lot of my time actually in the barn with the cows.
Doing the work.
Yep.
I know, because you're kind of a hard person to get a hold of.
I am kind of, yes. Definitely. My phone rings and dings all the time. I can't always answer it.
What are some of the, when you bought out your uncle and you started being part owner, what are some of the first challenges that you guys faced in taking off with that?
Yep. I would say part of it is figuring out who's doing what. I mean,
with that many owners, I guess.
Right. And not everybody is active on the farm, full time. My brother-in-law and his wife, they both live in Omaha. They've got jobs up there. My sister-in-law and her husband just moved back to the farm this summer. So we're working on, figuring out what their roles are too. I'm still doing all the books for the dairy, so sometimes it's hard for me to figure out how much time can I really spend at the barn and still get the bills paid and, things like that done.
I'm sure you'd rather be out there with the cows rather than
lots of days I
looking
would.
At the papers.
Right, but there's a few cold days that I'd sure rather be in my office.
I can see that.
Or super hot days, but you do what's got to be done. So another thing, we milk right at 1,100 cows, so we also have, employees. And so managing the employees, that's a different side that, was never our problem before. Yeah, exactly. We don't have a background.
So how did you figure that out? Was that, a lot of Google and YouTube or?
Some. I know a lot of other dairy farmers across the state and across the country. And so, we're a network, we ask each other for help. As far as coming up with an employee handbook and things like that, you kind of get resources from other people. From
everybody, share your experience.
Right. And we're definitely still figuring it out.
I'm sure everybody is. I'm sure that's probably a widespread thing.
Right.
So I did a little bit of research. If you had to guess and we're talking the entire United States, and all kinds of farming and, producers, how many farmers do you think are women?
You want a number or a percentage? The number?
Either. What do you got?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I'm going to go with percentage because I don't even know where to guess for a number. 10%.
It's a little bit higher than that.
Is it really?
So the total number of producers on the 2017 census is about 4.6 million. 36% of those are women.
Wow.
So that's 1.2 million of the producers are women, and 78% of those are part of the day-to-day decision making.
Right.
So you would be in that I assume in 2017 you filled out a census.
Yeah,
I don't
probably.
know if you remember. And it's actually pretty interesting. Out of those numbers, the ones involved in the cattle industry is about 28%.
Okay.
So that's like 350,000 of the producers that are producing cattle are women. That's pretty cool. Like way higher than you expected,
definitely,
right?
Yes, definitely. I did not expect it to be that many.
In your experience, so these networks, how many of the people that you talk to, is it mostly men? Is it women? A mix of both? Or?
A little bit of a mix of both. I mean, I have one that's mainly a social media network that I was invited to, and it's Dairy Farm Moms. So that's, a little bit different. But I also I'm a board member for the Nebraska State Dairy Association. And yeah, with the exception of an ex officio member from the university, I am the only woman on the board.
So you're really paving the way.
I don't know.
Well, and it's because a lot of the producers in that number, it's smaller operations or it's some kind of maybe like a different kind of farming than we're used to. We're used to seeing all row crop farmers.
Right.
But 20% of those numbers are females. So just under 245,000 are of the producers in the United States that are row crop farmers are women.
Okay.
So even if you put that in perspective of like in Nebraska, that's where it's probably mostly row crop. Like,
right.
I mean, that's a big deal. That's definitely, when I saw that, I did not see that coming.
Right. I agree. And I think back, to my days at the co-op, I don't remember there being that many women, there all the time and stuff like that, making the decisions for their farms.
Well, and it's just like going around SEC, I've noticed that there's a lot more young women like in the classes. I mean, what do you, like if you had like some great idea to get more women interested in farming and taking over the farm or even just starting their own business, like do you have any ideas?
I don't. I mean, I guess just to tell them, I mean, it's possible. I mean, I've got a 16-year-old daughter, and she's a sophomore in high school. Right now, her plan is to go to college, get a degree in dairy management, and come back and
work on the farm.
Come back and run the farm. And then she wants to be the herdsman and, the person that makes the majority of the decisions for the cows.
So then you're going to have to do books full time?
Right, probably. I'll be her assistant, probably.
So I don't know if I warned you about this, but everybody that we bring on, I have them tell us a hashtag farming fail.
Oh boy.
So this could be like recent, this could be when you were a kid, something that you did that was just horribly embarrassing that would be fun for everybody to hear about.
Oh, great. Well, the most recent thing I can think of, and I think it was this summer sometime, but we have cattle guards in the middle of the barn so that we can drive our feed truck and stuff straight through our freestall barn. Yeah. I slipped as I was crossing the cattle guard one day and fell. Pretty much both of my legs were completely soaked in, it wasn't water. Yeah. So anyway, and the herdsman, and there were a couple other guys in the barn.
So of course, everybody saw it.
Oh, exactly. Yes.
Are there cameras or is there evidence of this?
No. And I climbed out as quick as I could after I was all scratched up. But
well, we're glad you're okay.
Yeah, thank you. Nothing broken, but yeah, it wasn't exactly a pretty moment. So, and they laughed after they knew I was okay. But
so, have you noticed any like major differences from like when you first started, like your even your career or your life in farming to like what you do now? Has there been any like major changes in how things have either been run or gone?
I don't know. I feel like now, I mean, I spend a lot of time defending our industry, it seems like. I mean, the misperceptions that people have of dairy farming especially, but ag in general. I feel like, I'm on a couple different committees, and that's one of our main focuses is trying to set the record straight, with what we do. And I mean, farming isn't exactly the easiest way to make a living. I mean, a lot of farmers do it because that's what they really enjoy doing.
And people do need to eat.
Exactly. Right? So I always say I kind of wish all farmers could like go on strike for 2 weeks and let people figure it out that, yeah, exactly.
Well, and I with the Beatrice Area Chamber of Commerce, I actually got to tour Classic Dairy.
Okay.
And I grew up on a hog farm.
Okay.
So I've never seen a cattle farm that close. Those cows look pretty pampered.
They really are.
Like they were, and I've driven by on my way to other farmers cooperative locations, and I've seen the cattle just chilling in their little hay piles.
Yep.
Or I believe that's what it was. They looked comfy.
They are. I mean, we work hard to keep them comfortable, though. The cows definitely take the cool weather better than the hot weather. So during the summer, we have fans and misters, and we work pretty hard to keep them cool during the summer.
So how warm, because they probably put off a lot of heat, how warm does it get in that barn? Like right now, is it a lot warm?
Right now, it's actually pretty comfortable. I mean, I was in there this morning. I had on a long sleeve shirt and I had on a vest because I was breeding cows. I needed my arm. But yeah, it was actually pretty comfortable. We have curtains on the side of the barns, that we can put down to keep, so if there's a strong wind or whatever, we can keep the wind out. But they were opening curtains this morning to, let some more warm air in.
What do they think of the snow? Do they care?
Not really. I mean, it's just one more thing that catches their interest. They look and mess with anything that's out of the ordinary. So they
so basically
sniff
they
around
like to
a little
play
bit,
and
but
they're happy.
Exactly.
Well, good.
Doesn't bother them by any means.
So like looking towards the future, what do you see any like huge any hurdles, or what do you think the next thing that we're going to have to try and as a society, as people, we're going to have to try and get over?
I don't know. Gosh.
Or you're just hoping things are going to be...
I hope it's smooth sailing, but the price of milk hasn't been good for a while, and it's coming up a little bit now, so that makes things a little bit easier. But I think, just the general public...
The perception of what you're doing.
Right. I mean, if you're, buying milk that says antibiotic-free milk, well... You're being completely duped if you're paying more money for that, because there are no antibiotics in any milk. I mean, it's just, but people slap that label on something to charge more money, and it makes,
It's a marketing ploy.
Exactly. And so it makes people cautious and start to question, what's going on. Right. When in reality, it's completely irrelevant.
Is there any fun, long-term plans for Classic Dairy, or...
Not necessarily. We're full right now. I mean, all the barns are really full. So, to do an expansion project, we'd have to expand everything. And so that's really not in the discussion right now. We're just going to kind of stay the same for a while. Yep, exactly. We're good the way we are. Things are getting done. It's just exciting with my 3 kids, all showing an interest. So it'll be fun to see where the next 10, 15 years take us.
So with mom and dad both working on the farm, do the kids are they there a lot helping out, or? They
are, especially during the summer. They're around a lot now that they're, driving age 2. That helps out. They can come and go as they please. But even on the weekends, last Thanksgiving weekend, we had, a couple extra days. We're like, okay, you guys each pick one morning that you're going to go shore. And morning chores start at 5:30. So they set their alarms and, got up.
Go out there.
Exactly. And just helped out some while they're around.
I know as a kid, I spent a lot of time trying to earn a few extra bucks for my dad by going into the into the barn and trying to help. I mean, I was probably more of a hindrance than anything.
Right.
But I'm sure he enjoyed the company.
That's exactly right. It's just fun to have them out there. And I mean, yeah, my youngest one's 10, so they're all really to the ages where they can help, and they each have their favorite thing to do. And it's fun to see them out there and wanting to be there.
And I think that, I mean, it puts them, like, it lets them get to know it, I think. Because it seems like there's a huge disconnect between where your food comes from and what your food is, from people that have no idea. And I, like, personally, like, now growing up, I now know exactly what I love bacon, but I know that cute little pig that I saw earlier. Like, I make that connection. Right.
And it is the reality side of it that my kids get. I mean, cows are great, but they're just like people. They're going to get sick sometimes, and we do what we can to save them, but sometimes we can't. And I mean, they've all had the reality of that their favorite cow or calf or whatever, didn't make it. And they've, just learned to deal with it.
I know. I'm glad I picked the route I took, that I can help with the farming, but I mean, cows are cute. Like,
right?
I don't think I could do it. I love my cheeseburgers, but
yep.
I appreciate everything, people like you or my dad or just all of the farmers. Wholeheartedly, I commend all of you.
Thank you. Yes. And like I said, I mean, I do it because I like it. I mean, I like the cows. I like being around them. They're like people. They have personalities, and it's fun.
So I know I said, like, we had gone on that tour. Mm-hmm. Do you still do tours of the facility?
Yep, we do. My mother-in-law and I, mainly do the tours. The Leadership Beatrice, is that the group? Yep. So, they come out every year, and we do that tour, and we do school classes. So if somebody wanted to arrange a tour for, like, a school class, how would they get a hold of you? Well, the best way would probably be to shoot me a text or possibly call and leave me a message if I don't answer.
And can they find that information online somewhere? Or?
I don't know. Should I?
You should. Here, tell you what. Here, she's going to make a Facebook. How about that?
Yep, that'll work.
Make a Facebook, put your contact information on there, and then people can come find you and then learn about cows.
That sounds like a great idea. Because we do, I mean, I love showing people around the dairy. That's one of my favorite jobs, that of all the million things I do around the farm, giving tours is definitely a highlight. And we do all ages and all sizes of groups. We've given families. We've had a couple nursing homes do a drive-through tour where the people can't even get off their handy
we
bus.
Had that trailer.
Right. Well, but even on the handy bus, I've stood like in the doorway of the bus, and they just drive around, and I talk about things. And so, we're very versatile with our tours.
Well, thank you so much, Brooke, for coming in. Again, this is Brooke Engleman of Classic Dairy. And you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. And everyone, keep growing.